The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right. Good evening, everyone. This is Tiffany Kinney speaking, and welcome to Supporting Remote Learning with Learning.com. Today, myself, Tiffany Kinney, and Cami Nairn, we will be presenting this session. And before we get started, I would like to do a quick audio check. So let's do a quick audio check. As we're waiting for more to join us. So if you will raise your hand, you will use a little hand icon on your GoToWebinar panel. And if you will click on that hand icon and raise your hand if you can hear me. So let's just do a quick audio check. Okay, great. We are seeing hands go up. Wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and lower those hands. And then also, if you can see my screen, it says supporting remote learning with learning.com. You can see the opening slide if you will also raise your hand one last time. Go ahead and raise your hand. All right. Great. So everyone can see my screen, it looks like. You can hear my audio. This is great news. All right, I'm going to go ahead and lower those hands. All right, great. So some other features that we will be using during this webinar, we will be monitoring, Cami and I will be monitoring the questions panel. So if you have any questions, please enter those and they will come into us. We will stop periodically throughout this presentation. And then also there will be time for questions at the very end. So please use that. We will also be entering any kind of links that you need access to in the chat area. So you may see those come across your panel as well for any kind of information you may need to click on or we refer to. Okay, so just welcome. I think we're just going to go ahead and get started. Again, welcome to Supporting Remote Learning with Learning.com. And we are just very excited to be a part of the NC Bold virtual conference. So tonight's presenters, again speaking, this is Tiffany Kinney, and I'm the North Carolina Learning.com State Program Manager, and I have been with Learning.com a little over a year now. And my role specifically is to support the implementation, the life cycle of the implementation of Learning.com digital literacy curriculum here in North Carolina for our Tier 1 districts, and then also coordinate, support, train, all those training resources we have as well. So that is part of my role as a state program manager. And then also joining me tonight is Cami Nairn. She is also going to be presenting with me tonight and also monitoring those questions with me. So Cami, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Tiffany. Hi, I am Cami Nairn. I do work for DPI. I work in the Digital Teaching and Learning Home-Based Department, and I am an education product consultant, and I manage two products, the Learning.com product, which is part of our KA Digital Literacy Initiative, and the NESA system, your teacher evaluation system. So glad to join you tonight. Tiffany might tell you guys later that we used to be co-workers at DPI. So I'm glad for this opportunity to once again work with Tiffany. She's awesome with learning.com. And Audrey, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about Audrey. She just joined in my team, and she is also, and I'm sorry I don't have her title spelled out there, but she is also an education consultant here at DPI, and she will be taking over my job as the management person at DPI for learning.com. So sorry we can't introduce her to you tonight, but we did get you a picture and a name. So hopefully she can join some future sessions.
Thank you, Cami. Yes, and Cami and I, we collaborate very well together, and just excited to have this collaboration with not only her, again, as a former teammate, but also with the digital teaching and learning staff at DPI. So welcome. This is also our contact information. So if you have any questions moving forward as well, even after the webinar, that is how you would best get in touch with any of us. Okay, and Cami is going to just remind you about registration through NESAS for participation in the NC Bold virtual conference.
Yeah, and I think everybody probably has this down pat now that
Yes.
you've been through some NC Bold sessions today, but you did register through NESAS, and if you haven't done that part, there's the link on the slide today. We can put that in the chat if you need it. Just let us know, or in the questions, just let us know if you have not done this, or email us later, and we'll make sure that you get counted attended today. You would have also downloaded the Performance Matters mobile app to your cell phone from the Play Store or whatever store you go to. If you're on an iPhone, and it's called Performance Matters, and there's the code. We had a couple that tried to do this at our last session. So if you need that later, as we get toward the end of the session, let us know. We'll bring that code back up. And then once you've installed that on your device, you'll see the sessions that you're attending, and you can click the blue button that says scan the section code, and we will do that at the very end of the session. It will mark you as being attended, and then we can complete your attendance, and you'll have your certificate in NESAS.
Great. Thank you, Cami.
You're welcome.
All right, and tonight's agenda.
All right, so tonight we just went over our introductions and talked about signing in at the end of the session. Tiffany's going to tell you more about learning.com, and then we have an activity for you to partake in, and that is the What is Digital Literacy activity. So put your thinking caps on. We're going to ask you what you think digital literacy is, and we have an activity where you can go enter those answers. Tiffany will then come up and talk about the Easy Tech curriculum and the 12 essential digital literacy skills and how to get started quickly in learning.com. And then we have a fun experience for you guys. You'll get to experience what a student experiences in learning.com, and with the new gamified experience, this is really cool. So I'm excited for you to experience that tonight. And then we'll talk about the new North Carolina remote learning sequences and tell you what that is and how it came about. Tiffany's going to tell you about the national and state standards that are aligned to all the curriculum courses, or what you call it, Tiffany, curriculum in learning.com, and they are also aligned to the North Carolina digital learning standards. And then what's new in learning.com? Tiffany will tell you all about, Tiffany and I will both tell you about the remote learning lessons. And then Tiffany will demo the Tech Quest. That's another way to assign curriculum to your students. She's going to talk about CSE items and that gamified experience. And then, of course, at the end, we have some free resources for those of you that are probably may be joining us that your district may not have learning.com yet. There are some free resources that Tiffany will talk about out there. And then we'll add our additional information. And at the end, we'll finalize with any remaining questions and let you guys sign in for attendance.
Thank you, Cami. And I did see a great question that just came in. Is learning.com just for K-8? We are actually a K-12 digital literacy curriculum, comprehensive digital literacy curriculum for North Carolina, and we will talk about this a little later for the Tier 1 digital literacy initiative. We are K-8, but we do have high school curriculum as well. So that was a great question, and I'm going to go over that in just a moment here. And then also, like Kimmy said, we're going to try to make this as interactive as possible. We realize that you are taking your time this evening to be with us and over your dinner time, so we want to make sure this is fun. So you will be able to log in, and it doesn't matter if you have learning.com or not. You will be able to get that experience, and then also stay tuned for the free resources at the end that will include lesson plans that you can download. Okay. All right, and Cammie's just going to just explain a little bit about the session's learning objective and alignment to the digital learning competencies for teachers.
Okay, so our objective today was to get you exploring Learning.com's digital skills curriculum, and this will include the new North Carolina remote instruction sequences on your gamified pathway. Tiffany will point those out for you. And this will be interactive, hands-on approach. So you guys just go out there and enjoy, see what you can learn and see what's available for your students. And we've aligned today's session to digital citizenship on the DLCs. So this is Teachers Will Model and Teach Digital Citizenship by the ethical, respectful, and safe use of digital tools and resources that support the creation of a positive digital school culture. So we know you guys are out there working hard at that, especially with all this remote and blended learning instruction. So please enjoy today.
Okay, great. Thank you, Cammie. So about learning.com, like we said, some of you may not know much about learning.com, or you're just getting started with learning.com, and we welcome everybody to this webinar. There's plenty for everybody to not only learn, but to participate in tonight. So we are a K-12 digital literacy curriculum, and that curriculum is called Easy Tech. And Easy Tech is a comprehensive digital literacy curriculum that helps students develop and master the technology skills they need to enrich their core curriculum learning, and also prepare for success in their future careers. A little bit about the company as well. We are in 50 states and about 1 in 6 districts. We serve about 1.5 million students. We were founded in 1999, so we've been around for a little over 20 years now. Our headquarters are in Portland, Oregon. However, for me, I support remotelearning.com right from my home. So I live right here in North Carolina and started my teaching career and have been here all my life. So I am working remotely right outside of Raleigh. And then we have been recognized with several awards over the years, over our 20+ year history, and some of those are on your screen right now. And so, you know, one to point out the ISTE standards seal of alignment, and that's for the student standards. We're going to talk about those national standards and also the North Carolina digital learning standards as well a little later in this presentation. And then our most recent was Tech and Learning Awards of Excellence winner as well. So just wanted to, you know, just share with you a little bit about learning.com briefly for those of you that may just be learning about us. Okay, and for tonight's first interactive activity, we have a Padlet activity, and it's going to be, what is digital literacy? So you're actually going to tell us what you think digital literacy is. And I'm going to let Cammie explain this activity, and then we'll make sure we post the link in the chat. Cammie?
Yeah, sorry. I got a little tickle in my throat right then. Sorry about that. So yes, so we do have a Padlet activity for you. Hopefully some of you have participated in a Padlet before, but we'll explain it. So if Tiffany will click on the link, we've already reviewed our question. What is digital literacy? And oh, people are already entering out there. That's great. So you're going to click on the plus signs to add a note. And once you've posted your note, you can click a heart for other notes that you like. If you see that on the screen there, somebody's already clicked the little heart there. So you can heart other people's answers. You can put in your own answer. Once you've entered a note, you can go back up and get the little toolbar. There'll be a little trash can and a pencil to re-edit your question. And then there'll be 3 little dots. So if you're really fancy, you can post a picture. You can change the color of your note. There's little things under those 3 little dots. So this, we're going to give you a few minutes to enter what you think digital literacy is.
Great. And I also posted that link to the Padlet in the chat. So if you are having a hard time getting to that link, you may just go to the chat and see that link, and it will take you right there. And like I said, we're going to give you a few minutes to write your thoughts down, and we'll come back and share these out in just a few minutes. You guys are very busy typing. We'll try to wrap this up in just about another minute. So if you'll try to wrap up your thoughts, and we will share some of these out, and then we're going to learn more about digital literacy.
Looks like we've got a very thoughtful group tonight. This is great.
We do. This is great interaction. Thank you so much for writing your thoughts down. So at this time, Cami and I are going to choose a few to share out. Hopefully you're able to see on your screen. Of course, you will have access to this after the presentation as well, and you can also see this on my screen. So let's choose some of these that may stand out. I'll start with this one, the ability to navigate websites and choose reliable resources. That's definitely a part of it. Very good. Another one that really stood out to me was this one. Digital literacy is the ability to navigate technologies effectively while being able to create and gather and sift through necessary information. Great, that's wonderful.
Okay.
That is definitely true. Go ahead, Cami. Do you see?
Well, I like the
Some,
one in the second column. It says, I think digital literacy may be how you as a teacher or maybe even your students interact with different types of technology and how well you can navigate it.
yes, very good.
And then comprehension of ways to use technology to learn, create, communicate, and discover.
Yes, these are all very, very good. Hard to pick just a few. Yes.
Here's digital literacy is developing the skills students need to participate, learn, and work in an online learning platform.
Yes. So I'm seeing lots of the same words are sticking out to me. Navigate, technology, comprehension, use of technology, create, communicate. Let's see, understanding how to use web browsers, search engines, email, text, and so forth to showcase learning. Great. Ability to evaluate, find. Yes, these are all great, great answers. Thank you so much. Participate, learn. Digital literacy is developing the skills students need to participate, learn, and work on an online platform. So many good ones this evening. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. So thank you so much for participating in that. Again, you have access to this, so you can always go back and review these. You can also go back and review the others from the earlier session today. And then now we are going to talk about the definition of digital literacy. So this is a definition that you see on your screen from the American Library Association for digital literacy, and you're going to see a lot of those keywords that you just pointed out. You just shared with us. So thank you for that. So the ability to use information and communication technologies, and here's those words that you guys said: find, evaluate, create, and communicate information, requiring both cognitive and technical skills. So I definitely think we can use this ALA, digital literacy definition, as a guiding light and realize how important it is to understand that even as digital natives who know how to use a device or post to social media are not necessarily considered digitally literate. Would you agree? So digital literacy in education really encompasses so much more than how to navigate, let's say, a device like an iPad or send a text. It's so much more than that. So I want you to think about, why does digital literacy matter? And would you agree that every interaction with the internet or digital media requires some level of digital literacy? So I want you to think about those answers to those questions as we move forward and look at the digital literacy curriculum that learning.com has to offer. Okay. So at learning.com, we suggest that there are 12 essential digital literacy skills, and that these 12 skills can be organized for the most part into 4 key pillars containing 3 skill areas. Now, I do have a hyperlink. I'll go back up to this in just a minute. That will take you to a document that explains these 12 essential skills of digital literacy more in depth. But just for a quick overview, these components for each pillar are let's start with keyboarding and digital essentials. We've got computer fundamentals, keyboarding and visual mapping. So our keyboarding, we do have again, this is a comprehensive curriculum. Keyboarding includes adaptive keyboarding, and that uses diagnostic exercises to give students individualized touch typing practice, addressing their areas of weaknesses. Very popular here in North Carolina and also across the nation. Our keyboarding program is pretty fun, and it does include lessons, adaptive keyboarding, and also guided practices. And then online safety and digital citizenship. These no doubt are, oh, sorry, I got ahead of myself. These are no doubt fundamental. So, especially online safety and digital citizenship, also very, very well used here in North Carolina, across the nation now as well. For example, students need to know how to handle cyberbullies or distinguish among credible and non-credible sites, just like some of you were sharing on the Padlet. It also includes internet usage and online communication, and then multimedia. Then going over to apply productivity applications, word processing, spreadsheets, presentations. So creating content, someone said creating earlier, collaborating with others, using technology tools such as word processing and presentations. I will say that this is quite popular as well with our CTE teachers. We do have several districts that are using learning.com curriculum for their CTE teachers, and so that is all inclusive in here as well. And then computational thinking and coding. Students developing an understanding of the specific design process through computational thinking, and then giving students opportunities to see the value of code and coding as a way to develop logic and reasoning. So we have coding also there. We have partnerships with CodeMonkey and Codesters, and our new partnership in high school, which is not included in the K-8 digital literacy curriculum for North Carolina, but we do have a partnership outside of that with our high school is Coder Z as well, like virtual robotics. So that's pretty new for us as well. But for more information about the 12 essential skills of digital literacy, if you click on that link, and I'm also going to put this link in the chat, just going to copy this in there. You would be able to go back and read a little more about each of those skills. And I'm just going to scroll. It's going to talk about what is digital literacy, and if you keep on scrolling, it's going to talk about each of those digital skills and then elements of those. So what to expect in our curriculum as well. So I would love for you to take, maybe go back at some point and read through these and just learn a little more about them. Again, online safety and digital citizenship, you know, articulating the meaning and real world examples of plagiarism, digital identity theft. We do have lessons on all that. So, you know, on your leisure, go back and read through this. It's a really great resource to have, and just goes a little more in depth about those 12 skills. Okay. And then quickly, we decided just to talk about briefly about it is very easy to get started as a teacher with learning.com. Really, there's essentially three steps as a teacher. Okay, so and those are create a class, enroll students, and assign curriculum. You're going to see a little bit of that today with more of the curriculum side of things, the curriculum items. But if your district is a participating SIS, which is a student information system, or syncing district, and is signing in through Clever ClassLink, guess what? Your classes have already been created and your students are automatically enrolled. So really, as a teacher, your job would also be to just assign curriculum at that point. So just wanted to let you know, especially those of you that are not familiar with the teacher side of things as well and learning.com, it is very easy to get started with right into getting to your students using the digital skills curriculum that we have. Okay. So we are going to now have some fun, and we are going to go live. So this is just going to take a few minutes to make sure everybody can get in, but I'm going to give you on your screen, you can see that we're going to navigate to the platform directly. There is a picture of what you will see when you go to login.learning.com. So this is going to be the user interface you see, and we're all going to use the same username. So that will be demo student. Your password is student, and your district is training NC. Now, when we log in, and I'm going to do this with you as well, you're going to choose a level. So you get to choose your level that you want to see. So I know we probably have many different teachers and educators, maybe administrators and coordinators on the line tonight. So you're going to be able to choose what class you want to look at. And Cami has graciously already put that information into the chat. So we're just going to take a few minutes to log in as a student. And before you get started, I'm going to give you some tips and strategies. So let's just make sure we can log in first, and then I will tell you exactly what I would like you to do over the next 10 to 15 minutes. So let's go ahead and log in. It's in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and get out of my presentation so you can see how I'm logging in. So just as an example, again, login.learning.com, that takes you directly to our platform. You're going to type in demo student. So we're all logging in using the same username, same password, student, and then you type in the district training space NC. And as you're typing it, it's like a smart search. It should come up. And then once you have all that information in, I would like you to click login. So if you are logged in or looking at my screen, it will log you in to automatically the 6th through 8th North Carolina demo class, but I will show you how to switch classes. So if you want to choose the lower grade levels, you can. And this, the 6th through 8th is based on 7th grade, I do believe. And then the K5 is based on 3rd grade level. So let me make sure everybody's in. If you would, if you would just raise your hand if you were successful in logging in. Let's use our little raise hand feature. You're in, you see the gamified experience on your screen. You're logged in as a student. Great. Some of you are already in K5. That is absolutely fine. Thank you so much. Does look like most of you were successful logging in. So that is a great sign. Wonderful. And again, that information, if you're still having trouble, it is in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and put your hands down. So before we get started, just a few things. If you are familiar with learning.com, I don't want you to worry about these stars right now. We are all logged in as the same student. So as if this was a normal situation and you were logging in with your own student login, let's say you were the student, you would earn stars along the way as you complete the lessons, okay? But we are all logged in as the same student. So let's not worry about earning stars at this point. You're also going to see that everything's unlocked. So you can choose what lessons you want to explore. You can hover over them as well. And in this path, just so you know, I have included the North Carolina remote learning sequences. And you're going to learn more about that in just a little bit. So this is actually some work we've done in a partnership with DPI and also the learning.com hub group. So you will see different lessons. You can keep on moving over to see what else is there. And even at the very end, those of you that want to play around with some codesters, coding, it is in the middle school, the middle school grades. If you want to look at K5, if you click on classes, and we're just going to stick to these top two, you can just click on the second class here that says K5, click on that, and then you're going to see your gamified path. All right. See all those stars? Don't worry about it. That means people are completing lessons, which is absolutely fine. And notice that this has a different background. These backgrounds are all depending on the grade level. They are grade specific. So this is the one for that grade band of 3rd grade. K2 is a different scene as well. And then one thing you did not get to see is when a student logs in for the very first time, they get to choose their own avatar. So this right now is my avatar, okay? But if you were logging in for the very first time and we're not all logging in together, you would be able to choose an avatar as a student. All right. So here's what I would like you to do over the next 10 to 15 minutes. I want you to be the student. I want you to click through some of these lessons, answer the questions as you would a student, get some of them wrong, explore the curriculum. I want you to look at the settings, you know, set the different settings, work with there's closed captioning, there's playback speeds for the lessons. Just have fun, you guys. You are the student. So I'm going to stop talking now, and I'll check back in a few minutes. I'm here if you have any questions along the way, but this is your time to be the student. All right. So about 10 to 15 minutes, we'll see where we're at, and have a good time, you guys. you have any questions that come up while you're exporting, please, type those into the questions panels. We are here. We will take a few minutes to share out what you think and any feedback in just a few. We have about 7 more minutes or so. So have fun. If you have any questions, please send those in.
Hey, Tiffany,
Yes, Cami.
there is a person out there in the questions, if you don't mind looking
Okay.
at those, that can't get past the password, so I don't know what next to help her with.
Okay. Kathy, if maybe you'll clear your cache and cookies, try in Chrome. I'm using Chrome right now. It should work in Chrome or Firefox anyways, but maybe try that. Try that and let us know. And if you get a chance, maybe take a look, if you haven't already, at the very beginning of your student gamified experience. We do have one of the newest remote learning lessons included, which is the commenting in the virtual classroom. You may want to look at that. You may not get to the end of it, which does include what we call an exit ticket for the students, but maybe check that out, or check out our adaptive keyboarding. It's this little airplane icon here. You can play in there for adaptive keyboarding. So if you haven't checked those out, maybe check those out in the last few minutes. We have about 4 more minutes. And we have about 1 more minute. So 1 more minute to be the student. And then we'll share some feedback, comments, any questions you may have. All right. That is your minute. We've had some great questions come in. So if you'll just wrap up what you're learning, or excuse me, working on as a student. And also, if you want to, go ahead and send in the questions panel, any comments, feedbacks, questions, what you experienced as a student, what you noticed as a student. I would love to take some time to share that out. I did have a great question, several great questions that came in that I'm going to pick out from the crowd, asking about keyboarding and really liking the keyboarding, the typing lessons, and would like to provide practice for elementary students so they can learn how to type responses in digital learning platforms such as Canvas. We do have keyboarding lessons start in kindergarten. Adaptive keyboarding starts in 3rd grade, but all those lessons, we have lessons and guided practices all throughout K-8. That is K-12 now, but for the Tier 1 districts and for this digital initiative, you'll see K-8 today. So yes, building those foundationals, it's divided by grade level, the keyboarding lessons, because it is one of our digital skills, and practicing things like home road punctuation numbers and so forth. So that was a great question. How new is the gamification part? We were introduced to learning.com the summer of 2019. This is fairly new. Gamification came over the summer. So yes, it is new based on some feedback from our users. And we're going to talk about that in just a little bit, but it is new, this gamified path experience using the avatars, having students earning prizes along the way. Yes, that is new. All right. Yes. Another question. Keyboarding lessons. Is there a way to only assign the lessons keyboarding only? Absolutely. When we get back into the curriculum into the library, and I can show you that, you will see that you can assign just keyboarding. Absolutely. You can actually create your own group or class that's just keyboarding. Yes, you can do that. All right. And Cassandra, could you give me a little more information about that lesson? The lesson that you're talking about? You said K5. Not sure exactly which lesson you're talking about, but if you just send it on, I will let you know. Okay, so anything else you would like to, it's talking about, okay, a lesson about empathy, and students had to tell how they would feel, I think lesson 4. Okay, so this one would be the application exercise. I'm not sure this is the exact one you were talking about, but this is an application exercise. So what your students would do, they would go through the lessons, and those lessons are student paced. They are direct instruction. So your students would go through those lessons first and then answer these questions that goes along with those lessons. So this is what we call an application exercise. And this is applying what they've learned through that direct instruction through our lessons.
And are there more like that?
So the lessons building up to that would talk about the empathy and feeling. So it would be about cyberbullying, and also I think there's some of that information is also in the new virtual classroom lesson. So it'll have a few lessons and then lead up to the application exercise. And this is the remote learning sequence, so there might be some more also in our curriculum, because this is not our full curriculum. So we can explore that as well. But I know the lessons leading up to that would have that information as well. And I had a question about Canvas that came up, that if asking if learning.com integrates with Canvas. And it does integrate with Canvas. Will they have to have an additional password in order to access Canvas? Elementary students are struggling with so many passwords. No, so if they are using like a syncing district, like using Clever, or let's say you're using ClassLink to log in, we also integrate with Google Classroom, they should not need an additional password. Everything should be connected. Depends on your district setup. I'm going to say that too. It depends on how your district set it up as well. So,
did you see the question about a survey at the end? Need more information
okay.
on that?
Yeah, I need a little more information about a survey at the end. We do have where you sign in at the end, but not a survey.
For today's webinar, but are you talking about the lessons?
Oh,
Yes, we need
okay. Or the
additional
lessons, right? Yes. Yeah, I need a little more information about that.
information.
Anyone else would like to share out or questions about lessons? Again, what you're seeing here is lessons or curriculum items from our North Carolina remote learning sequences, which we are going to talk about here in just a minute. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click out of this, just so it'll save me some bandwidth here. And then Cammie and I are going to talk about what you've just experienced in your gamified pathway, talking about the remote learning sequences. So I'm going to just talk a little bit about this, and then Cammie's going to share about our partnership with the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. And these are what you got to experience today, was the North Carolina remote learning sequences. And as you can see that they are part of the custom curriculum, these are the sequences that we worked in collaboration with the department and also the learning.com hub committee. More information to come about that. They are grade level and digital skills specific sequences. So as you got to see today, if you were in K-5, you were doing online safety and digital citizenship. There was some keyboarding in there as well. If you were in the middle grades, you did online safety. There was some coding in there as well. And I think there was some internet usage and online communications as well. So these are pre-packaged sequences, these North Carolina remote learning sequences. They were customized just for North Carolina, and they do include those skill areas. So notice that there's not all 12. It's about 5 to 6 skill areas that were chosen to be a focus of. These are the essential fundamentals to prepare students for blended classroom or remote learning. So including computer fundamentals, online safety and digital citizenship, keyboarding, word processing, and so forth. And the remote learning sequences do include teacher facilitated and auto score curriculum items. So some of this, especially with the younger grades, you're going to notice that we have included common sense education items as well. That is also a new-ish partnership from the spring. So we do have common sense education, their online safety digital citizenship lessons as a part of the remote learning sequences. So Cammie, if you will maybe just talk about the partnership and kind of the work we've been doing over the past several months.
Sure. Thank you, Tiffany. We'll have some later slides to talk more about the K-8 Digital Literacy Initiative, but that started in 2018, and our chosen vendor from the state was Learning.com, and it's been a great partnership, and those that have signed on, our tier ones could get some funding to use Learning.com, and then we had convenience contracts for others to use Learning.com. But the way these sequences came about that you see on the screen right now, when you go into your learning.com, if you do use it, you'll go into the library and you'll see the little icons with the little North Carolina. But how did all that come about? Well, last year we were implementing learning.com for year one, and we were getting on a good roll about January. And then y'all know we went remote in March. And so we were all scrambling because we knew teachers needed lessons for students. Teachers were looking for lessons for themselves, for about how you teach remotely, how you remote learn remotely, how you do blended classrooms, all of that kind of thing. So my home base, my digital teaching and learning manager, Dr. Wren, tasked us with working with learning.com to create an easy way that you guys as teachers, we could make it simple for you to assign this type of curriculum to your students. And so what came about were these this curriculum bundle of easily assigned digital literacy to teach your students the keyboarding, the citizenship, the online safety. And to do that, we formed a hub group with some learning.com leads from Cumberland County, Millennium Charter Academy, and Warren County schools. And they were very instrumental, along with our DPI digital teaching and learning team. We got to do what you guys did with the going in as a student, seeing how the lessons were, although we didn't have that pretty gamification that you see now. So I'm really excited about seeing that come about. But as we went through, we saw some things that were awesome. And then we saw some other things that kind of needed to be brought up to this day and time. So we've worked with the learning.com team, and they were also looking at the same thing. So I'm glad to see the new content that you just tried out with a student learning how to talk to their teacher using their either laptop, their iPad, whatever they had, Chromebook. So they were going to gear some more new lessons are coming to show that kind of newer age online access and how to do it safely, how to deal with bullying, how to use your mouse if you have a mouse, your touchpad if you have a touchpad. So we're just very excited. And Tiffany, we thank you that you guys have been so great to work with this partnership so that we can serve our students here in North Carolina.
Thank you, Cami, so much. Yes, it's been a great collaboration, collaborative effort. We put a lot of work collaboratively over the summer, and the result was really some amazing things and new things coming your way as well. So there are things still under development, but one of those amazing projects we worked on collaboratively was the North Carolina remote learning sequences. And on your screen now, it's just showing you that once you get into our library and click into one of those remote learning sequences, it is by grade level, and it is skill specific. And so we have created also together supporting resources. So we do have not only pacing guide available, and those were sent to all the district coordinators that are current users, but it would definitely be available for those that sign up at a later time. But also some remote sequences, this communication that we shared. And this communication was really around just communicating the work we've done with the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, but also the hub group and what we've created, what's come out of that project work. So I was just clicking into one of those documents here, but then the North Carolina Educator Digital Literacy Brief was just a quick start guide for teachers that we created. So, you know, how to log in, how to set your classes up, just really to the point, a one-page document, how to assign and manage curriculum, really with a focus of remote learning sequences. And then, of course, our online training center that we'll talk about just a little bit later. So keeping in mind that these resources here and curriculum and our curriculum would support your public your public school unit, district charter, remote instruction plans. And then national and state level standards. We do, our curriculum items comply with the national and state level standards, and I wanted to talk a little bit about throughout the next few slides some examples of how our lessons do align with the North Carolina Digital Learning Standards that are, as many of you know, in implementation this year. So this is the first year for implementation. They were in installation year last year. And then, of course, we have our national level standards as well, ISTE standards for students, among other national standards that are located in our platform. So you can actually search our curriculum by standard, and then also you will see how our curriculum aligns to each standard. So over the next few slides, I wanted to show you how they are integrated across the content areas. I also supplied a link right here. If you click on North Carolina Digital Learning Standards, you would go to the document that highlights those standards. And so the North Carolina Digital Learning Standards, they were adopted, or excuse me, the ISTE standards for students have been adopted as the North Carolina Digital Learning Standards, okay? So just so you know, the document is here if you want to go through those. And so a few lessons, again, that I wanted to showcase across various grade levels and skill areas to just demonstrate this standards alignment. And then, you know, another thing, just keeping in mind, these digital learning standards are intended to be integrated across content areas. So really all teachers are responsible for incorporating them in their instruction. So here's just a lesson. Quickly, I pulled out computational thinking and directions. This was a grades 2 through 4. And then these are the standards that are aligned: innovative designer and computational thinker. Then one of our very popular lessons, online safety, communicating online and cyberbullying, for our grades 4 through 5, digital citizen, and all the dot notations that go with that, that support that standard. And then for 6 through 8, I pulled out this lesson, spreadsheets, trends, and forecasts. So again, with incorporating these in your instruction, you will have covered the computational thinker and creative communicator. And again, you can search in our platform by standard as well. All right. So wanted to briefly also talk about what's new. As Cami said, there is a lot of new stuff, and even some of you pointed out, you said, hey, I haven't seen this gamified experience. Yes, we've had a lot of new stuff since the spring. You know, COVID made the madelearning.com pivot quite a bit, and also our work with North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. That was great partnership there, and working on us to improve our product as well along the way. So we are going to talk a little bit more about TechQuest here in just a minute. So just quickly, TechQuest is a student-led auto-score curriculum. And the difference between that is that it does not require teachers to assign any content. So not your traditional way of doing things. So you're going to see that in just a minute. So I'll go over more of that later. You've already seen the updated student experience. So you saw those map-like assignment paths. What you didn't get to see is how you choose the avatar, but you did see an avatar in there. There's a reward system that students unlock achievements along the way, and they can actually unlock games as well. So they can unlock like keyboarding games. The one thing I do want to talk a little bit about is something that Cami mentioned earlier, was the remote learning lessons. So these lessons were intended to help students be more successful to navigate within a remote and hybrid learning environment. As we know, the learning environment has changed. It has shifted a lot since the spring. And just some of those are already in our curriculum. If you had a chance today to see the commenting lesson at the very beginning. That is one of the new ones, okay? K2 added a new lesson as well, but some of the ones that are going to be integrated here actually within the next month is virtual classroom meetings. So how to conduct how to conduct yourself in a virtual classroom meeting. Netiquette. So netiquette in communicating online is another remote learning lesson. And then troubleshooting basics for online learning. So think about how to troubleshoot, like, you know, with let's say your webcam or your audio. Just think of that troubleshooting. So lots of really cool things coming up very shortly, should be finished very soon. And DPI has got a sneak peek of all that because they have been collaborating with us and giving us feedback, and it's just been a wonderful partnership. Keyboarding games, we have new keyboarding games. Some of you may have already noticed that if you're a learning.com user. So again, you know, they practice their touch typing practice and for a certain amount of time, and then they will have a choice of games to play to really further those skills. The online training center is also new. So the online training center allows teachers to access training, and I'm talking about like online videos. It is like a course almost. And then videos, supplemental materials, resources to learn about our curriculum at your own pace. We realize that professional development time may be very limited this coming school year. So this is just another way to get all our educators trained. And then the K-12 online safety content. I mentioned earlier, we do have a partnership with Common Sense Education. And so we do have those new items included in the online safety and digital citizenship. And that is all included in learning.com. All right. And one other thing I did want to say about the remote learning lessons is, you know, these are very important right now, and I wanted to explain the benefits of using the remote learning lessons and the benefits of use. You know, we want our students to learn how to navigate software for remote learning or hybrid learning as a way to develop good habits to work independently. We also wanted you to know that the lessons are subject agnostic, which means students participating in any learning environment, whether it's remote or hybrid learning environment, will be able to learn skills to apply across all of their learning. So these are the things that we are working on, and some of them have already been released. Okay. So without further ado, I also explained to you a little bit about TechQuest. We're going to look at a quick demo of TechQuest. It is in the new gamified experience. It is a browser-based access again. It's grade appropriate paths of auto-scored lessons. So this is how this one's a little different than the remote learning sequences. Because this is all auto-scored lessons and corresponding skills checks. Skills checks start in 3rd grade and they go through 8th grade. And what they are is a pre and a post assessment for your digital skills. So your students would be able to get a pre-test, let's say take a pre-test on, let's say online safety and digital citizenship. Then after they've had their lessons and taken that time to go through the lesson and the content, learn the content, they would be able to take a post-assessment to actually see the skill growth. And some of you already may have, when you were playing around as a student, you may have seen some of those skills checks. And it does cover those essential technology skills for readiness in today's digital world. Those are listed on your screen. So a lot of these you've seen before, right? Online safety, adaptive keyboard, and computer fundamentals. Oh, we also have a TechQuest curriculum sequence available on our support site. And I just wanted to show you. And all our curriculum, our pacing guides are out there as well. So, but if you click on that direct link, it will take you to the support site so you can see by grade level what is included in the TechQuest curriculum sequence, okay? So that will take you, and all of our pacing guides are out there on our support center if you want to take a look. And then some screenshots of what this looks like. Again, gamified experience, right? Just so you can see it really quickly. I'm going to go ahead and log in as a demo student. And you may have noticed when you logged in as a demo student in your classes, you saw a choice. You saw the third choice as TechQuest, right? Just wanted to show you here that yes, if you create your own classes or have your own class to assign curriculum, they can coexist, but TechQuest will be automatically assigned if you do not have curriculum, or you do. It's the easiest way to get access to our curriculum. And like I said, it does not require any of those traditional class creations or curriculum assignment setup steps. The only thing necessary to access TechQuest as a student is to make sure your students have accounts and to assign a grade level for each student. So that means they have an account, assign a grade level, they log in, and they begin to learn their digital literacy skills. It's really as simple as that. And this one is a locked path. It is a locked, you see the locks because it's a forced sequence. That means your students have to actually go in the sequential order. And actually that's for the remote learning sequences normally. Today I left that as an open sequence so you could play around in, but for the remote learning sequences, it's also a forced sequence, meaning your students have to go in that actual sequence to make sure they're getting the skills needed. Okay. All right, so just want to show you that. Again, they're grade appropriate paths of auto-scored easy tech lessons and the corresponding skills checks, and that is TechQuest. All right. Okay. And we are coming down to the wire. So let's go. Let's talk a little bit about the free resources. I know some of you said, hey, I don't have learning.com. I'm interested in learning more. We do have a repository of free resources, including some free lesson plans by digital skill area. I really wanted to point that out to you guys. So this is going to be under this first one, digital skills resources to support your distance learners. This is going to take you out to the learning.com digital resources page. Some of this is going to be for information for our subscribers, but there is information here in lesson plans that you can download. And I'm going to go ahead and put this link right into the chat area. So if you want to click around with me, and I'm going to show you where to get the free lesson plans. They're really great. So if you scroll halfway down where it says lesson plans, okay, there are some lesson plans here. They are grouped by digital skill content area. And also by content area. So before I click on anything, how about in the questions panel, tell me what grade levels you teach, or tell me what you teach, and then I'll pick a couple to show you. So if you will quickly just tell me what you teach, and I'll pick a few to showcase. All right. I'm seeing some second grade, third grade, eighth grade, seventh grade. Keep them coming. I'll pick a couple that EC, K2 media. All right. Second grade. I'm seeing lots of kindergarten, or excuse me, lots of elementary. Okay. Keep them coming. I'm going to go ahead and click on some of the K2 stuff. For instance, online safety, netiquette, and cyberbullying. This is great for not only classroom teachers, lab teachers, but also media specialists. It does go into the grade levels, the length of the lesson, overview, objectives. You can download the lesson plan, and I'm just going to show you get lesson plan here, and it will send it to your email as well. I don't know if you can see this, but here's a lesson plan for netiquette and cyberbullying that you can print out and use. All right, it has warm-up activities, other activities, modifications and differentiation, resources. Just wanted to show you that's out there, and I'm just going to go ahead and copy that PDF in there for you. That's K2. That's just an example, okay? There's more on that page. I'm going to go back to the resource page and I'm going to look at some more grade levels. Let's see. We've got KEC technology. We've got a mixed bag, 7th grade, 8th grade. Let's do some 6th through 8th. All right. Let's go to computational thinking. Let's do algorithms. Again, it gives you an overview of the title, lesson title, a new student in class. Oh, that one is mislabeled. So I clicked on not a good example. Let's click on another one. Sorry about that. I'll have to tell them to finish that one out. Fix that one. 6 through 8. Project-based business project. Let's look at this one since we have some middle school. All right. So here's another lesson plan you can totally use here. Lesson, length of lesson, warm up, activities, a prompt. Okay. So again, just there is a handout here as well. So it does give you all the materials that you need. And this one's Sell Me On It. It's a project-based lesson. So I just wanted you to have some resources, and this is about 5 pages long, and show you where to go for those resources for some free lesson plans. There's other stuff on this page as well, other resources. I did include some links to a webinar, how to set your class up for distance learning success, and an ebook. Okay, so really great tips and strategies to use in a distance learning environment. And then staying connected, I included also our learning.com webpage. This is just for information on learning.com. And also, if you would like to look at some of our support resources, like our pacing guides, that's our support resource guide, our resource site. We've got a editorial for digital skills, and we're on LinkedIn and, of course, Twitter. I do post also on Twitter a lot, any kind of upcoming webinars. And I know Cami has talked a lot about the Digital Literacy Initiative and our partnership, and maybe she wants to say a few more words here, and then we'll show some participation, and then we're going to wrap up.
Yeah, I'll be short with that, but this is a slide for you to know how this K-8 Digital Literacy Initiative came about, and it started back in 2018-19 with some legislation from 2017 for digital literacy, recognizing the need for that. And then this initiative was put out there, and the state chose learning.com. So we implemented in 2019-2020, and we had about 90,000 plus students accounts during that year, implementation year. And then, in March, everything closed. But for 2021, we are growing the number of students. So we're getting very close to 100,000 or more student accounts, and we hope to keep seeing that grow. We are still working with our learning.com hub group as needed. The home base manager, he's new this year, and he's done an awesome job. He's Rob Dietrich, so it's just for your information. And Audrey Long, she did finally get to join us on our webinar, so she's listening in. But hopefully next time she can talk a little bit too and join us. And if you'll show the next slide, Tiffany. Yes. So somebody was asking earlier who is using learning.com. So this slide is actually showing you our tier 1 districts. And we have 37 of those who could use some funding from DPI to implement learning.com. And then Tiffany can talk to you a little bit about, we have a few districts that are using our convenience contract pricing, which is
Yes.
very good pricing for implementing it in their schools that are not a tier 1 district. So like you can see on here, Bertie, Warren, Bladen, some charter schools like Bethany Community, Rockingham Schools, Dillard Academy, and just look over that. Now, they may not have implemented in every school in your district, but a lot are this year. They're trying to go full blown this year, a lot of the districts. So check with your district if you see it on here, but you may not see it in your school yet. Just check with your leads in your district and see how they're rolling that out.
Yeah, thank you, Cami. Yeah, there's a few more. So we have just over 40 districts charters, or there is some private schools. There are some private schools in North Carolina using learning.com. And, you know, some districts may have moved out of the Tier 1 status, and they took advantage of the state convenience contract price, which is a discounted price, as Cami said. So some of those districts live in like Surrey County. I know Elkin City Schools is using again this year on learning.com. So just a few over 40 that are currently using learning.com. And then finally, we need to make sure you can scan the section code on the last slide. Just so you know, we did include some information regarding the learning.com and North Carolina partnership. We had some people on the last webinar that wanted more information about the partnership and also the state convenience pricing, because it is a discounted price if your school or district decides they want to subscribe with us. But let me click out of this so I can move the square so you can sign in, and there we go. All right. So a lot of you probably know how to do this now, but to scan the section code to make sure you sign in, and these are the directions: opening up your Performance Matters mobile app, logging into your North Carolina EdCloud, select the blue button, scan section code, and scan this QR code. Now, if you're having any issues with the QR code, you can complete from the bit.ly, and I'm going to type that in here right now. So if you have any issues with that, if you'll go ahead, you can use this bit.ly link. Otherwise, thank you all so much for attending tonight's session with us. Cami and I, we really do appreciate you taking the time. We hope that you've learned something, digital skills, about digital literacy, more about that, and also have been able to take some of those free resources back to your classrooms. Otherwise, we'll stick around for a few more minutes for any questions, but thank you so much. I know this is some very challenging times for you guys, and you guys are doing a wonderful job. So please keep up the great work, and if you have any questions, please reach out to myself, Audrey, or Cami, and we will be happy to answer any questions. So thank you so much. We'll hang on for a few more minutes, especially to help you guys make sure you can sign in. I will also stop the recording. All right.